You got to give people an opportunity to respond. You know, when you engage people intelligently, you can't react selfishly and emotionally. You can't let your emotions make you be selfish. You know, when you're dealing with things on a daily basis because they're rejecting the Lord's Prayer, you only have to think of, how you have to make it through the day and survive the day. You don't have to accept that as a lifetime. Okay, do you understand? At the Today Show, they had the Rodriguez kid from rural Trent. He's talking about, well, this week, we get a lot of do amazing things. And last week, Will got to have a child die in his arms and all this. This is for entertainment and marketing. Okay, you living the Lord's Prayer. Why are you still engaging in this type of irrational entertainment for marketing to give people, it used to be this way, but when you look at things the way they used to be, like Zorro, but then you're doing healthcare and drugs, and getting people to get inoculated or to survive a disgusting environment. People have no intention on changing the interaction of the environment. They have to. They're perceiving what's managing surplus populations. If you do as you're told, you live a longer, healthier life. If you don't do as you're told, then you kill yourself. We all know that. If you try to steal, you play around, you lose your wife. You play too long, you lose your life. Right? Got your pills to ease the pain. Right? Good time Charlie's got the blues. Now when you're a selfish person. And I used to tell my wife, manipulated relationships don't work, right? The only way you can have a relationship that lasts is if it's mutual dignity or respect, and it has to be based, you have to be to trust. You need to be able to trust one another, okay? Now, if, I told Amy that before we got together, you have to be so nice, I would have loved you anyway. If she would have told me how she was before we got together, I would have evaluated the situation differently. I would have been able to deal with the situation differently. But she told me she was one thing, and then she turned out to be something different, which made me very upset with Barbara and Peter, because they joked, all cells are final and stuff like that. It's like, what, they knew a lot more about her than I did. And they didn't tell like this Haas with this woman that was in the clubs in San Francisco and stuff. And so you need to know what you're getting. And I'm the type of person, what you see is what you get. So the whole thing they had on that YouTube the other day, these people, you have the spy is in your hand, the spy for, there's a hummingbird. And, Natalie asked me that. She goes, aren't you worried? I said, no, I'm not worried. I'm not trying to procure uranium to blow people up. I'm not trying to prostitute my children or manipulate them or abuse them for what I want. I'm not being a selfish person. I'm trying to survive this abuse. Okay, but I'm not doing anything manipulative or wrong with technology or money to try to manipulate the narrative where I'm the good guy and they're the bad guy, right? People that invade people's houses and manipulate them and abuse them to use money to get their, to maintain their objectives through manipulation is wrong, right? So if people aren't standing up for the Lord's Prayer, they're not doing anything meaningful. And you'll sit there and you hear, well, Viola Davis is all that. Viola Davis isn't standing up for the Lord's Prayer. She can paint herself as nice as she wants to paint herself. The painting's not going to show actual reality. It's just going to be a portrait of a person who never stood for the Lord's Prayer a day in their life. Okay, so you can have a portrait of Jesus, and you can have a portrait of other people that say they love Jesus and they love like Jesus, but that doesn't make it true, right? So if I say I'm gravity and you all agree I'm gravity, it doesn't make me gravity, Scorpion Kings, right? Do you understand? Okay. So I can't command you to grow up right now, but you can command yourself to grow up right now. All right? Do you understand? Donald Trump can command himself to grow up right now if it's tangible. Elon Musk can do it if it's tangible. The Rodriguez kid on the Today Show George Snoupolopoulos or whatever can do it if it's tangible. The Bush girls can do it if it's tangible. But you decide whether or not it's tangible that you can stand up for the Lord's Prayer and share the beauty of the Lord's Prayer with everybody worldwide today. right? If it's tangible. Like Lauryn Hill on MTV Unplugged, right? I know it's tangible, right? And if you can accept the living word and love the living word the way he loves you, then it's tangible. If you cannot do that, then it's not tangible. How many people throughout the world accepted and still accept Haile Selassie as the Messiah? Okay, very few. You can talk to lots of people who never knew Jesus and are looking at an artist representation of Jesus through corporations that involve themselves in debt and trespass and mass murder over money and say Jesus is the Messiah. The same thing with Muhammad, okay? Many people say Muhammad is the Messiah, and they are in nations where people mass murder people over the oil industry, but they still believe that Muhammad is the Messiah, okay? You have lots of people that have tons of evidence that Haile Selassie is the Messiah, but people don't know he's not the Messiah. Okay, and the only people that seem to say he's the Messiah are the people that want to win the conflict over manipulation with money through their group. So obviously to them, he's not the Messiah. He's just a political tool to manipulate people with their ego. Right? So understand the living word, obey the commands of truthful, faithful, loving reality, and then become the enlightenment of the Messiah yourself. If you're not capable of doing that, the technology right now, through the actions of myself and my prayer connections to other people's like myself throughout time, are going to correct that for you. Do you understand? Okay, now let's load this one. This one, okay, the last one, giving you an opportunity, and you're obviously not ready. This one, this one, it doesn't matter if you're ready or not. Okay, your opportunities to stand up for the Lord's Prayer before the technology shifts and gives you no opportunity to do so are radically shrinking. Focus on Lord's Prayer. Eat, drink, sleep, Lord's Prayer. Wake up, Lord's Prayer. Okay. Do you understand? Okay, I'm going to load this. Anonymous doesn't mean a thing. Okay, this is Las Cruces, New Mexico. So I can look at the president of China and say, hey, I'm not asking you to be a good person. I'm explaining to your technology how to command you to reflect good so people can be treated good. And if you can't do that, your technology is going to have to take command and command you to be good. Okay? Do you understand? Same thing happens here. And if he doesn't do right by me, that's not my issue. That's his issue, just like it's your issue. Okay? Your ancestors killed Sun Yat-sen and tried to turn him into a comic book character. The same way, okay, Donald Trump's ancestors act. Okay, and that's your issue, not my issue. I'm the living embodiment of the Lord's Prayer. If you desire to be the living embodiment of the Lord's Prayer also, this is your decision. Make a loving, wise, faithful, truthful decision. All right? Here we go.